Boop. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this is going to be the finals. This is going to be game 1 of the finals of the DominateDominion.com League of Legends Dominion Tournament number 58. We've been doing this for a little while. We do this every week, happens on Saturday, and this is the 58th installment of it. Next week will be 59. We're almost to 60, man. That's going to be some interesting times. We do 4 extra bans, in addition to the ones that happen during the Champion Select screen. So there are a total of 10 bans. It looks like the first chat ban is going to be Teemo. And the second one, you can't ban Dota Champs Carnival. That's not right. So at least the first ban is going to be Teemo, and he's a good ban.
Yeah, if nothing else, banning Teemo just ensures that your opponent, basically your opponent's not going to have that extra little bit of jungle control. I mean, even with Sweeper being prevalent and Lightbringer being somewhat prevalent, you can still accidentally step on a mushroom, and then all of a sudden, there goes about a fifth of your health. And then just when you think you've gotten safe from the ticks, bam, there's another mushroom.
If you... What's the word that I'm looking for here? If you... Okay. If you're... Depending upon the way that your internet connection is, a little bit of latency can sometimes hose you a little bit on Sweeper, because you gotta be careful about the detection radius. You gotta be really fast at your response time, because when you see that mushroom come up, if you're running full speed after a speed shrine, you might still hit that if you don't click to stop fast enough. So make sure you smack that S key when you see a team of mushrooms so you don't run over it. Now watch out for that. We're also seeing Caston being banned. Caston, who has an extreme amount of mobility around the map, a silence, a slow, great chase, great escape, and he takes multiple coordinated hard CC to kill. And Kale, whose damage could get completely outrageous at the end of the game, and she will just take somebody down. And then Nidalee, whose poke is amazing, and she has a heal. And heal helps sustain, sustain helps delay, and delay is how you win games. Durable and delay. You gotta be able to fight, and you gotta be able to stay in that fight long enough to do your damage. So, durable and delay.
And that ultimate of hers, too, can just absolutely turn the tide.
I guess we should tell them we can go. They're probably waiting on that. So this is going to be Pazel and Child Support versus Cheese Enema. Now these teams have met before, and Cheese Enema has beaten Pazel and Child Support before. We'll see if they can do that again, or if they're going to get 2-0'd. Who knows? Pazel and Child Support's a great team. Cheese Enema can have some crazy plays. And those crazy plays get people off their game. And when you get off your game, I don't know if anyone's ever gotten off their game before, because some people are game on all the time. When I get off my game, sometimes I'm like, how do I items, and why did I just buy 2 ruby crystals? That's not how you make a haunting, guys.
Yeah, if there's anything that Cheese Enema does specialize in, it's unpredictability.
Looking at the chat bans here, Lulu being banned. Lulu is an excellent ban at higher levels of Dominion play. Lulu, if you want to be unfair, learn to play Lulu. If you like supports, if you're okay with making someone else in the game a hero, play Lulu, go out, find a Vayne, or just solo queue until you get a Vayne, alright? And then follow Vayne around, and watch everybody die, okay? Uh-oh, Vayne. Vayne's gonna die! Ultimate! Vayne's still gonna die. Shield. Someone's getting away from Vayne. Glitter Lance. It's just not good. Oh gosh, Brand walked up. Cat Brand. Cat Brand into Tumble, Condemn into Wall, True Silver Bolt proc, and you die. Basically, Lulu enables the flowchart of Vayne gameplay. Is Brand tries to escape fight, gets Glitter Lanced into Tumble, Condemn, True Silver Bolt proc, Brand dies. Pantheon ambushes Vayne. Vayne gets a health increase and a shield. Vayne doesn't die. Everything Pantheon has is on cooldown. Pantheon gets condemned into wall, True Silver Bolt proc, Pantheon dies. Everything leads to True Silver Bolt proc, Pantheon dies. Lulu Vayne, great combo. I highly recommend people trying that out if you guys want to have some party time. So she's great because of her slow and her ability to keep her allies alive and her crowd control. She can also do a pretty good amount of damage too. If you pick up like a Sheen or something on her, it's pretty awesome. Trundle, excellent duelist. Really, you can just live for a while. It's awesome. He has great sustain. He's durable. He can chase, all that stuff. It's a little hard to get him into fights sometimes, but if you can get Trundle into a fight, he will beat the crap out of you. You gotta be afraid of that guy. Pantheon has a stun. Stuns suck. If you get stunned, you're like, crap, I'm probably gonna die. He has a channeled ability, though, which can break anyone out there that plays against Pantheon. You can interrupt that Heartseeker strike, and it'll make him real sad. And if you want to finish somebody off, Pantheon will just throw a spear at them, and they will die because it will automatically crit. Pantheon's really scary sometimes. He does suffer a little bit to kiting, but you know what? Sometimes it's easier to ban him than have to deal with that guy. Wukong. You ban Wukong. Armor reduction, AoE, airborne, durable character, and decoys. Like, where'd Wukong go? And then Nimbus strikes out onto somebody and beats them. And it's like, oh, that's where Wukong went. He went into my carry. That's not very good. Darn. So ban Wukong. It's mostly the fact that he synergizes so well with other attack damage characters. Wukong Crushing Blow into Vayne Tumble, Condemn into Wall, True Silver Wall proc is really bad. You have to watch out for that. Wukong Crushing Blow into Vi Armor Break is also really bad. Wukong Crushing Blow into Jace Blat Blat Blat, also really bad. You can see where this is going. Wukong just synchronizes well with other characters, and he brings good CC to the table on top of that. But he's got a lot of damage, too. He's a scary character. Jace, lots of movement speed. Excellent poke with the Shock Blast, Acceleration Gate. Highly mobile because of the Acceleration Gate as well. You build him with some attack damage, jump out onto a point, you shift into gun form, blat, 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 Zyra dies. It's horrible. You want to watch out for that. He's really good at eating up squishy characters. He can also live for a while in melee with some of the more brawler characters out there. And tanks, well, he's durable enough to just walk away from tanks. He just bats them away with his hammer, pops the Acceleration Gate, and gets out. Jace is a rough guy to deal with. It's easier to ban him than to deal with him because, you know what, I actually don't know how to deal with Jace. If someone knows how to deal with Jace in a detailed and efficient manner that just makes Jace sad, I want to know in the chat if you know a way. And lastly, Kha'Zix was another character who was banned. Kha'Zix is banned because he will jump out and kill you, and then he will jump back into the forest like nothing ever happened. And then you'll be like, what? Why is Wowix dead in the middle of the lane? It's pretty scary. All of a sudden, Kha'Zix happens. His Q does more damage than some people's ultimates, and they die and get sent back to base. And then he jumps back into the forest like nothing was wrong. He's like some sort of alien or something. Oh wait, maybe he is. I don't know, does the Void count as an alien? I'm not sure. It's also hard to pick up kills on him as well, because he has his stealth, he has his leap, so if you do catch him in the jungle solo, he's got plenty of way to escape from things. However, if you do have your sweeper or your Grezes around, you can light him up and catch him during that stealth and really force that jump away. Or if that jump is on cooldown already, you can really catch him and take him down. But without that situation, Kha'Zix can escape very easily and is really good at killing people. Especially if someone breaks off for a fight, Kha'Zix jumps out of the fight to follow up on them and take him out. Lots of damage from that guy. And he usually bursts you down or forces you out of the fight before you have a chance to deal with him. It looks like we have some picks going on here. So, Kuriono, if you wanted to, why choose these champions?
Let's see, looking over on blue team side, you have Zyra, probably one of the best crowd control and siege type mages. She can get some pretty good poke on you at a distance with their plants. If you do manage to close range on the team fight, she's got an ult, pretty wide effect that can knock up the entire group, deal a nice chunk of damage. She's got a nice root on her abilities, and is overall just a pretty safe pick if you want to keep an enemy team at a distance. Urgot is kind of like a mixture between an AD carry and a bruiser. He outputs quite a lot of physical damage, but he also has enough tanky durability to survive if you do manage to get on top of him. Say, as like compared to somebody like Ezreal or Caitlyn, where if you do manage to get them where they can't escape, they're probably just going to keel over and die if you've got the damage to do it. Urgot, he can withstand that a little bit. He can switch you around. He can slow you, so he's got the bulk to do it. You've got a Mumu, powerful tank, powerful AoE CC capabilities, got a nice little bit of AoE damage as well. It's just a very disruptive tank that you need to have an answer for in your team fights. Xin Zhao, I actually haven't seen a whole lot of Xin Zhao since Season 2, but the ones I have seen, he's just a fairly decent assassin for getting in there, throwing down some damage, knocking people up. It's just kind of another Talon situation. You do not want this guy to jump on you, except where Talon kind of locks you down. Xin Zhao just kind of banks on really, just killing you all the harder. And then you've got Evelynn, who's a very good bottom lane ganker. That invisibility, her burst, sometimes they're slow, is just a very nasty thing to be facing. If you're a primarily bottom lane player, the last thing you usually want to see on the enemy team is an Evelynn, because you're going to be spending all your time in fear of where is she. You pretty much have to pay attention to the minimap at that point. Let's see, looking over on purple team, we have Galio again, one of the stronger anti-magic tanks. He has some trouble in some other categories. His damage can be a little bit hard to land, and he doesn't quite have as much crowd control as some of the other tanks. His ultimate is on a slightly high cooldown as well, but whenever he lands things, he hurts. Especially since that ultimate of his is just basically an AoE crowd control, which redirects everybody's attention towards Galio. And the more damage he tanks while you're beating on him, the more he hurts you back. J4, really powerful bruiser, really powerful tank, just all depends on how you want to build him. He can lock down a single target. If he aims his flag just right, he can do a line knock-up on everybody. He's got a shield, he's got a slow, there's just nothing not to like about the guy. Sona is a really nice aura tank, or kind of a all-in-one support. She's got crowd control, she's got healing, she has got a fairly nice range on her poke and can do some respectable damage to boot. She may not be quite Lulu level of strength, but if she gets her ultimate off on a clustered group, that's just not a position you want to be in ever. And if she gets Iceborne Gauntlet in combination with her Power Chord E, she can kite you all the way around the map. Shaco, you don't really see a whole lot. He used to be one of the popular champs for the Pooter style of gameplay, where your entire objective was to ignore the team fight, go back to your enemy's bottom or middle, and just backcap all day. You can either build him AP and just kind of nestle in for some boxes, but that almost doesn't work quite as often as more in Dominion ever since Sweeper came out, or you can go for AD, which is kind of like a priority assassin. You have to jump in, you have to pick a target, and try and take him out. You just kind of have to be a little bit tricky with how you do it, and his ultimate does allow him to have some interesting stunts with the clone. You're going to have to... Oh, no, the stream of mine cut out just for a second. Then you have Talon, who is very good at assassinating priority targets. He is almost like the go-to guy for this. He sees a target, you need to take him out, he will jump in, he will silence them, he will slow them, and he will just basically burst them down. And if you turn around and try and stop him, if you have no form of vision, he's just going to pop his ultimate and walk away like nothing ever happened.
Shaco was... When I first started playing Dominion back in October 2011, my first two bans when my queue popped were, I'd just type as fast as I can if I didn't get banned. Ban Shaco, ban Rammus. Like, if anyone remembers those days of Dominion, where Priscilla's Blessing existed and it was awful, and Warmog's Priscilla's Blessing backcapping with, like, mobility boots Shaco Rammus, it was horrible, horrible times, man. And the first two bans were Shaco Rammus, and I'm really happy to see that Shaco has actually gotten a little bit of play recently. It seems to be mostly just Wowix that plays him, but it's nice to see Shaco actually back in gameplay these days, because I think he's served his time in the penalty box for being what he was back then. He deserves to come out and play. So does Rammus. We don't see a lot of Rammus either. But this is game one of the finals, guys, so we will get a second chance at seeing Shaco after this game, and maybe a third chance, because this is a best-of-3 series. This is going to be Pays Evelynn Child Sport versus Cheese Enema. And this is the DominateDominion.com League of Legends Dominion Tournament number 58. So, on Pays Evelynn Child Sports team, we're going to have Infeed playing as Zyra, Carnival playing as Amumu, Panzers playing as Zinzao, Dark Lord Booberry, a.k.a. Captain Name Changer Booberry, playing as Urgot, Painkiller playing as Evelynn. I'm one half of your casters. I am Gander, and casting with me is...
I'm Sakuriono, one of the local Dominion players for the team Domination.
It's Domination?
Dominionation, something like that.
Okay.
It's tricky to say off the top of your head.
Alright. And over on the other side, we have Chizama Lurch playing as Galio, Crowd playing as Jarvan, Brown Bruiser playing as Sona, Wowix playing as Pause Screen, and MMKH playing as Talon. Have my mouse this time. That's pretty cool.
And of course, it's not a true final match without a pause right out the gate.
Well, Wowix playing from South America, so he has some lag on connection. Oftentimes when he actually plays the game, so he'll get dropped or something during connection or like loading in the loading phase, and then he'll have to reconnect and then it'll finish loading. We're not sure how, why, or when, or what causes it, but it happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, if you're that far away, latency issues are just kind of unavoidable, unfortunately.
I tried to ban pause screen, but it was grayed out for some reason. Not sure why. It happens to some non-South American players as well, I've noticed. I'm not sure if there's any relation or what to it, but... If Pantheon gets Phage, he's more likely to get Frozen Mallet.
Distance is probably part of the factor, but also I keep hearing things about the Adobe Air client that Riot uses that sometimes it just says, hey, I don't like your computer, so I'm going to be a brat.
Yeah, I've had that. I go load it up and it's just like error and it closes. I'm like, oh. Thankfully, though, you just reopen it, and it usually works after that. Because I've had that happen before. Hasn't been too big of a game changer for me, though. And it looks like, wow, was that a reconnect that I heard right there?
I believe so.
Okay, we'll give it a... There we go. 3, 2, 1. No longer sepia tone. Bang. Booberry. Oh, maybe it was Booberry. That... Oh, no, I just started to move my camera, and then... There we go. Can we play, guys? Can we play? So normally I would take the pause time to talk about the matchup a little bit, but I think we covered that pretty well. I don't like Shaco against Zyra. That's one thing I don't like, because Zyra has some really hardcore snare airborne combo, and I think that can eat a Shaco. And I'm kind of curious to see what Galio's going to do this game. I mean, Galio has a couple of AoEs. Actually, everything he has is basically an AoE, so I'm a little bit wrong there. But Galio has a lot of AoE damage. It's a little bit harder to deliver, I think, than other characters' AoE damages. The Optic Blast range is kind of short. It has a slow, which is pretty cool. That's always nice to have. It's pretty spammable with the CDR. But really, I mean, you can dodge the tornado thing. What is that called? I can look. There we go.
Are they sending 2 down to bottom lane?
We might be seeing like a super early gank here. What is Wowix gonna do? I don't want to miss this.
I haven't seen this tactic since Boots Mobility.
He's going for the bottom point deny. Well, that's interesting. Look, it's drawing Eve away from the top right there. So it's going to be 3v3 up top once that fight breaks out. Galio coming over here as well. Eve is revealed. However, Optic Blast does not connect, though. Wow's getting low on health there. Eve's kind of chipping away at him. And their health is just getting lower and lower down here. If they have a way to disengage from this safely, this could be a pretty solid play. And what? MMKH and Krowog, I don't like Windmill. They're boycotting the Windmill fight entirely. I'm going to go to Refinery instead. They're going to pick up that point, it looks like. Yeah, they're going to pick up that point just fine. Zinzao's in the middle of the jungle. He has no idea what to do. Shaco ran by him heading up for the Windmill. He's going to apply pressure there, which is going to draw more attention up that direction. And he just leaves. Jack in the Box dies, unfortunately. I really think he was counting on that for the fear right there. MK's able to connect with Painkiller and do some damage there. Sona on the other side. And there's a lot of wacky going on here. Peso and Shoutspark kind of sandwiched in the middle of the map. Clairvoyance goes down right there for more of a reveal. And Jarvan, having none of anything, goes down here immediately for the quarry. First is Urgot to turn around and go back. And Cheese Enema at a 3.5 cap at 2 minutes into the game. Barely 3 minutes.
Yeah, it looks like their strategy going into this was just to be as disruptive as possible in terms of expectations, taking tactics not often seen in your formal Dominion tournament matches, and so far it's actually paying off for them.
If they can keep that up for the rest of the game, that will win them this game. Pezel and Shouldsport is extremely knowledgeable of comps and team tactics. If you can break them up, that's where they're most vulnerable. That's not to say that they're bad in any means at skirmishes, but it's definitely also not where they excel. Up at the top point of the map, they're not able to get that neutral off. Unfortunately, that looks like they were looking for there. Brown Bruiser and MKH with a presence up there at the top end of the map. And Shaco and Krog over here, Wowix and Krog, trying to get neutral off on this point, and they aren't quite able to get that. And not getting that neutral at the top of the windmill really hurt them. They were looking for that to tie things up and keep them at 2-2 cap for a little while before they make their next set of plays. And look at all of this, like, time being dedicated to Wowix over here. Infeed looking around the map for him. Panzer's going for the Storm Shield. No one coming up top or anything like that to try and make a defensive play or anything like that. It's just a where's Shaco? Infeed looking around in the middle of the map.
Yeah, with Pooter-style gameplay, normally the standard countermeasure is just to devote one team member to anti-Pooter's duty, just because it's always going to be a 3v3 otherwise. But we've also seen some backdooring from some of the other members as well, so they're just all kind of roaming and making sure that it's not going to be a repeat of what happened in the first couple of minutes here.
If they keep that up, that is how you defeat the strategy. But the thing is, look at Amumu up there, kind of by himself. If an engagement breaks out without Carnival there, that can be very lopsided and turn bad for Pex very quickly. Krog taking an airborne right there. MKH, oh, not quite getting caught. That was dangerously cheesy for a moment. Krog a little bit slowed there. Things are looking a little zany. Up at the top, Wowix does go for the point. Carnival immediately on top it with a Garrison. Lots of damage on Shaco right away there. Bunch of minions up here at the top, but that's a lot of minions with no Garrison if they're able to drive that into the tower successfully. Just south of that, Painkiller and Panzer's trying to connect with Krog there, and Jarvan dashes through. They eat the stun. Krog is able to get distance away from Evelynn there. Turns around with the Cataclysm. Boxes are in. Unfortunately, not able to deliver that KB. Hiding in the bushes. She is a little bit too far away from everyone else. MKH gets captured and picked up there, and Brown Bruiser now retreating. Point was neutral by those minions up at the top there. Panzer's just going to turn around and pick that up. Wowix breaks away from everything to engage the refinery. Evelynn revealed by the neutral tower, because neutral towers reveal for both sides. So Wowix is able to see her coming and get away before she can really do anything. Point is neutral. 2-2 cap right now. No Nexus health being drained on either side for a couple moments.
Yeah, it was actually an impressive move on the Sonas, being able to finish off Amumu and get away like that. Wowix is still continuing his backdoor attack, but it looks like with each passing engagement we're seeing, they're starting to adjust more and more to the strategy. So we're going to have to see if this is going to keep paying off, or if we've already hit the breaking point.
And there's a reveal from Painkiller going to chase after Wowix there. But 2 boxes there. That's a lot of DPS. Look at the chunk that it took off of her health. That was just a couple of stabs and a couple of boxes. Brown Bruiser now going for the bottom point. Looks like they're going to put the pressure down there. Lots of map roaming going on above them. So they're going to try and bring the fight to the bottom, which has some distance away. And look at Wowix. Goes straight by on the wrong side. Pokes his head out by the refinery. Amumu turns around. So they're not going to have Amumu in this bottom fight here. Whereas they are going to have Galio. And she's on this side. And they have the point neutral there. Jarvan's going to break off and head for the refinery. And if they keep this point neutral here, and they can get the neutral off on the refinery as well, if Amumu can't run that 2v1 there, that's going to give them a tower advantage. And Brown Bruiser able to cancel with Evelynn there, and they are going to get the point back. Mumu doing a great job of defending over here against Wowix, and Krog. And Wowix says, oh, we might be able to get away there. It looked like he wanted to go for the execute, but he's like, no, that timer hasn't ticked down enough yet. I can't get that. Now is he going to go for it? Nope, he's still running. Still running. And he's going to go for it. Oh, no, Eve still got that kill. What?
Red team's Nexus is at 75% health.
Must have just been 1 second off or so.
Yeah, it had to be kind of really close. Painkiller up here at the top. Brown Bruiser trying to heal MKH up. Panzers comes in. Nice stun by Brown Bruiser, but I think it's only delaying the inevitable, really, as he gets driven away there. MKH can put out the hurt here, but not with Amumu's bandage toss on him. MKH has to start retreating right away. Had that stun from Carnival right there. Carnival's just looking for another bandage toss, but there's a lot of minions in the way, so he's going to need an open shot to connect it. I think he's going to get it right here. Are we going to see it? Yes, goes for it, tags him, and Carnival is able to take him down. Wowix hates Refinery, and also is not very happy with Evelynn. Evelynn hanging around there. Wowix making sure to keep this point neutral. If he gets caught by Zyra, though, that's not good. Sees that skill shot coming, dodges out of the way. Good move by Wowix. Able to stay out of the way of that. And 2 caps, 2 caps. Their Nexus health is not going down, and that's good.
Yeah, Wowix is actually able to keep getting a surprising amount of neutrals off. However, he seems to be having a hard time getting the full caps. But those neutrals are buying them important time they need for the rest of their team to reposition and capitalize on the disruption he's causing.
Malek's able to get away from Amumu as well. Galio coming up from the bottom there. Optic Blast goes down. A little bit of fear. Also, Carnival actually taking a lot of damage. Galio sees this, wants to go for it, I think, but decides that, well, you know, there's no one down here to cover this tower, so I'm going to go ahead and head back. Jarvan looking for Amumu, not going to find him. Evelynn not stealth, could be bad for her. J4 sees that, but then he immediately sees the follow-up from that. Nice banish toss by Amumu into complete disaster for Jarvan.
Yeah, that, just even if nothing else for the bandage toss, that's such a powerful bit of CC whenever it lands. That's almost why you see Amumu banned quite often.
And the fact that you can fire that off as often as you can, too, makes bandage toss really unfair. That ability is amazing, and its cooldown gets so low with cooldown reduction. Infeed and Panzer zoning. Nope! Bandage toss! Brown Bruiser is in a world of hurt now. Bandage toss into Xin Zhao, and gets a free trip back to the summoner platform, unfortunately. Wowix is like, hey, I love neutral points, but Evelynn loves Shaco. They're going to have a little bit of a disagreement of sorts down here in the bottom. The fear does go off. It enables Wowix to get distance and get away. Jarvan, though, is going to have a lot better odds in a straight-up fight with Eve, though, and we'll see how that works out. Able to put a lot of damage in on her immediately, but he doesn't want to stick around too long because Urgot is there, and that is going to be pretty dangerous for Krauk. He does get caught, though, by the Acid Hunters, so he's going to take 3 of them on his way out, which that's a fair bit of damage. Wowix loves Refinery also. To get the neutral off on that, Infeed's going to have to turn and divert away, and Amumu is the only one by himself up here near the windmill right now. So, with all that attention they've been putting in the bottom lane, drew some people from Pex down there. Now it's 3v1 up top. If they're able to unseat Carnival from this point, they are going to be able to get the neutral up here. Xin and Evelynn are on the way up as quickly as they possibly can. Painkiller is revealed right there, throws down the ultimate immediately, but gets feared. Panzers dives in for MKH. Brown Bruiser turns attention over to MKH, see if he can save him, and just buys him a little bit of time right there, picks him up with the ultimate. Brown Bruiser still alive in this fight. Wowix is on the wrong side of the tower, though, to be able to really deliver any damage. Wants to connect with Painkiller, I think, but it's just too risky for him to be able to do it. Airborne from Zyra right there. Brown Bruiser delaying as long as he can. Minions push the tower over to a neutral. Wowix is in a great position to try and kill Painkiller, but he has to dive past Zyra, and that makes me really scared. Xin Zhao from behind takes him down. However, there wasn't enough time bought for Jarvan to get up to the top point of the map there. However, tons of damage coming from Xin Zhao right there with that Yomu's and that Grez is there, so he's doing a lot of damage. He's healing a lot, and while they did get the point neutral, the full capture was foiled, unfortunately.
Yeah, at the start of that fight, that was just an unfortunate matter of timing, because they did have Amumu outnumbered 3-1, and they closed on it nicely, but they weren't able to get off the burst they needed to take him down quickly enough. And so they wound up taking enough tower shots and not getting that neutral that in the subsequent fights they just weren't able to get that final push onto the windmill they needed.
Booberry with the most unfortunate recall ever down there in the bottom lane being caught out. And Painkiller chipping away at Lurch right there. Goes for the Idol Duran. Momentary taunt there. MKH not able to seal the deal on Painkiller, unfortunately. Doesn't want to retreat up too far. Saw that Xin Zhao was there. Throws the rake, tag him. And Wowix able to keep that point neutral. And if Wowix keeps Zyra tied up, I actually really like that because Zyra is extremely dangerous. And if he can hang out and distract her and keep her out of fights, it's going to enable other characters like Talon, who are very susceptible to CC, to actually sit and play a little bit. Jarvan going to go for the windmill here. However, Wowix is dragging enemy forces towards it. Amumu sees this, turns around, is going to be able to stop Krauk from capturing the point. Talon closing in from behind. Xin Zhao coming up from the bottom there. Wants to connect with MKH. MKH sees this now. Panzers has revealed. Curse the Sad Mummy into everything bad happening at once.
Yeah, that Amumu ultimate is just basically won the fight right there for them. You get caught out of position. If he drops that, there's almost no way to correct that error. And
Wowix is caught, is stealth, and is going to get away. Shaco very, very good at evading fights. Now, whoa, Painkiller. Nope. Wowix smelled what the Rock was cooking and is going to escape from that. Turns around, though, because he knows that while he still has mana, he can contribute damage to a fight, even if his health is low, as long as he has someone to drive down, or throw down some CC or something like that for him. Up at the top, Brown Bruiser is keeping Infeed busy, it looks like. Infeed has really not been in a lot of these team engagements so far, and I think that is good for Cheese and MKH gets snared, but Infeed can't really stick his head out to try and capitalize on it because of Sona and Jarvan's presence.
Yeah, just looking at Walwick's and Painkiller's play, it's both impressive and kind of fun to watch these two. They've been darting in and out of dangerous situations, and basically it's a game to see who can escape death the most.
Ooh, Wowix comes down into the fight with the Sona stun right there, trying to put the hurt on Panzers. Panzers hits really hard right now with the dash into Wowix. Brown Bruiser is stunned, so Wowix loses his sustain, but he still has his movement speed there that he's really using to his advantage. Tries to get away there. Carnival is able to take down Sona, and Wowix immediately goes for the refinery, and Xin Zhao needs that. It's a very valuable trade commodity, and it has to be refined. Does not want Shizano to be making all of the dollars in Runeterra, or wherever we are. I actually don't know. MMKH jumps in on Panzers there. Quick fight. Panzers gets taken down. And now, descending upon this area of the map, the Idol Duran only connects with Infeed, unfortunately. Infeed does take a lot of damage to the exchange. MMKH killed off by Urgot there, and now them having to fall back. Wowix wants to throw that damage on the Painkiller, teleports out away through the Health Relic. Excellent retreat path, if I do say so, picking that up, running into the bushes. And Wowix is going to put pressure on the refinery again to draw Evelynn away from the other engagement, so that Brown Bruiser and Kraug are going to be able to fight with Carnival and not have to deal with her damage as well. Wowix kiting Evelynn around the windmill. Defensive Garrison and Curse the Sad Mummy go off. Carnival seeking to delay this as long as possible. Wowix retreating up towards the top now. And looks like Kraug might be able to get Carnival down. It's going to be really, really close. Carnival needs a stun and gets it.
Yeah, it was a really close match between the two bulks up top. Wowix's distractions are actually providing some nice openings, because back a few minutes ago, the bottom lane capture was mostly due to Wowix finding an opening for Talon to come down and gank Urgot, but despite his efforts, it does not look like they are able to capitalize and turn the tide quite yet.
Ooh, Evelynn gets caught by Shaco's Jack in the Box right there. Drags her back through it, making sure she takes that extra damage. Pops the clone there, and continues to make her stay down here in the bottom lane. Wowix is really not going for kills right here. He's just going for making people stay at a point. It's delay, delay, delay. And he's been doing a really good job of that so far this game. However, in other areas of the map, while he is initiating and pulling some of these, he hasn't been getting a lot of... His team has been getting a lot of success in the other areas when this has been going on. And that's largely in part because I think Carnival's Amumu is just crazy.
Yeah, Carnival's Amumu, if he hasn't been solo defending a point, he usually has one or two of his other team members with them, and they've just been catching out the solos and duos in the jungle. And once those two go, or once their catch goes down, that provides them team fight control in any location they choose.
Xin Zhao with a lot of damage, but not a lot of durability there. And he's really been using that to his advantage with a lot of hit and run because of the really skirmish nature of this game so far. Wowix up at the top has Evelynn and Amumu sort of distracted, which means it's going to be a very lopsided fight in this bottom lane here. Talon is heading back up to the top half of the map. Wowix likely to die in that engagement up there. But down here, the Idol Duran goes off, keeping Panzers and Booberry away from Brown Bruiser and Kraug, enabling them to sit back and do some damage. Lots of minions here. Get the neutral off on the tower. Offensive Garrison off on it as well. Kraug kills him, but now Painkiller's seeking to mop up Kraug. Kraug dashes away towards the point, does get killed. Point is neutralized. Talon up here at the top doesn't really have anything on the Mumu by himself. Mumu banish tosses over, though kind of has a sense of where he's going, gets him with a lot of the despair, and the ultimate goes off. He's able to get back to the tower, and Carnival is dive bait for the rest of the team. Gets a trip back to some of the platform. The windmill is going to be turned around. Shizama is going to capture this point unless Zyra can get there in time. And Zyra doesn't connect with the snare. Wowix able to complete the cap. There you go.
Yeah, even with having
the banish toss not connecting. That is percent unhype. Good for Wowix though.
Yeah, topside Amumu Sweeper is down at just the wrong moment, so when Talon ulted, he didn't have any vision of where to focus his damage.
Amumu is uncontested at the top of the map right now. Chizama is having to move up there as quickly as possible, but in the process, Panzers and Infeed are able to catch people in the middle of the map, though, but it's a 3-on-2. Great stun by Sona, able to help them pick up that kill. Panzers and Zyra both go down. They're able to turn around and head back up to the top. However, Carnival's Amumu has secured the point again, and he was very difficult to unseat on it the last time that they had an engagement up here. So now Talon and J4 therefore, they might want to go for this. However, Krog doesn't have the ultimate available right now. It looks like if they alternate caps right here, they might be able to get a Moo down. You see that alternating one click at a time, back and forth there. And if they do this, they can slowly wear Carnival down to the point where they have the opportunity to burst him, but those bandage tosses are just doing so much damage. You see their Talon has to jump out with the Noxian Diplomacy, go through the minion in order to escape there. Otherwise, oh no, he's got caught. And with the ultimate from a Moo, Carnival picks up a quick double kill, and that is very bad for Cheese Enema.
Yeah, I was kind of watching the bottom fight as well while that was going on. It looked like Urgot's managed to put some great hurt down there, and Evelynn caught out Shaco as well, forcing Sona to have to redirect her efforts down on bottom just to make sure Urgot didn't backcap that.
Now, there is something very important to note about this game in particular. This is a best-of-3 series. If they just put a lot of stress on Payzem and Child Support in this game, get them off their game, get them thinking, get them doing unorthodox things like they've been going on all game long, Urgot in the bottom here in a lot of trouble, every crowd control in a row right there, and not a lot of ultimates used on that in down the bottom lane there. Ilo Duran doesn't connect with anyone, unfortunately, and that's very unfortunate there to not have that in the position that Megalio is in right now. They are able to kill Evelynn as well. Going for Blueberry right now. Eve with the revive comes back. Eve with the Windex cleans that up very handily along with the rest of her team. And that point is going to be neutral for a couple of moments there. Urgot just waiting for the time to tick down so he can recapture it. And they're going to lose the drill as well. Payzem and Child Support has to go through all of this work to win this game. They've been running around the map all game long. And in the next game, they're going to be that much more fatigued going into it.
Yeah, Shaco did his work up here at their middle while the team fight bottom was going on. They did manage to cap it, but he took them on a loop around the background terrain at least 1.5 times.
And with Payzem and Child Support applying pressure over here, Chizama might not be able to get out, and they don't have anything that they can do to stop the clock at this point in the game. So this game is going to go to Payzem and Child Support, but we have a second game to play after this. And is Payzem and Child Support going to keep up with their crisis management that they've shown in this game? We're going to have to find out in Game 2, guys. There is a second one of these games. I am percent hyped for that. Let's take a look at the post-game lobby, get a look at those items, get a look at that time spent dead, get a look at that time spent Shaco. Wait, there's not a meter for that. Maybe there should be. Take a look at the items here. Painkiller with Twin Shadows on Eve, Mob Boots as well. Some mobility boots, counter to mobility boots. Wowix going like maximum speed and tanky as well. Wowix wanted to be able to survive to delay for as long as he could, and if you look at both of these items here, look at this health regen on Rocket, health regen on the Runic Bulwark as well. So he wants to make sure to keep his health up while he's active on the map, and just using his physical presence, not necessarily his damage, in order to be able to delay enemies for as long as possible, and in a perfect situation, forcing two people to come to stop him when they could be somewhere else on the map. And, you got any thoughts on the items before I switch over to the damage?
About the only thing I could probably have to say is that Twin Shadows is probably the perfect counter item to a Pooter strategy like Shaco, because not only does it have the slow on it, but they directly seek out the nearest enemy champion, and if you know you've got a Shaco in your backfield, it doesn't matter whether you see him or not, the ghosts will know where he is. So if you're fast enough, like Evelynn probably was with both the sweeper and the boots and mobility, you can just follow the ghost right to where Shaco is without having to play a guessing game. Yeah,
those ghosts are, they're complete jerks. Take a look at the graphs real quick before we kick over to a short break before Game 2. Take a look at Damage Delta Champions. Shaco not last. There you go. Look at that. Zinzao and Talon's damage, though. Very respectable, though. But overall, entire game long, lots more damage on the side of Payzem and Child Support. And let's find out who the Graveyard Hero was for this game. My cursor stopped moving, guys. Hold on, I think my USB thingy just died. Does my mic still work, Sakuri?
Yep, I'm still hearing you.
Okay. Alright, it's back now. Alright, my USB port is really finicky. It looks like it just shut off there for a second. Okay, but we are fine now. Oh, time spent dead! I'm going to let you guys draw your own conclusions from that. Graveyard Hero is Talon. Graveyard Unhero is Evelynn. There you go.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me too much that 2 of Purple Team Squishies have the higher death time, just because in counter to Walwix's roaming, they were doing quite a bit of jungle control on their own over on blue side. So any chance they got to pick off like Talon or Sona out in the jungle, they took it.
Okay, and we are going to get in the lobby for this next game here. And we'll see you all in just a moment.